talking now about esports, e-gaming, and we're going to do it with the first gaming company that was listed in India. Yes, I'm talking about Nazara Technologies, and the founder and CEO Nitish is joining us live right here on the market. Nitish, always a pleasure talking to you. First time we're speaking in the year, so Happy New Year. I know you were down with COVID, so good to know that you're back up again, and thanks for joining us live today. A lot that's been happening at Nazara. I'll get to the board meeting where you're going to be, talking about fundraising, pref issues and all. But as someone who tracks the space really closely and has been bitten by the gaming bug, the recent acquisition of Planet Superheroes, how big is it? Why is it important? Why do you think it's a game changer?
I think if you step back and look at the way the gaming community in India is expanding right now, you have hundreds of millions of potential gamers who are playing games largely on their mobile phone. I think the next eventual step is for this community to engage a lot more with gaming, and I think that's going to flow into merchandising, whether it's wearing game-based T-shirts or all types of merchandising. So I think as a next connect with the community, this is an important aspect. And Nazara and our subsidiary companies have great relations with global publishers. So I think we can bring some of the best IPs into this merchandising, which is why we kind of have entered that space.
Of course, you'll have, Nodwin, which will be able to bring in all of that merchandise. And we've always seen how people are willing to pay hundreds of dollars for their avatars in Web3, for video games, for changing outfits. So I'm guessing they'll also do it for the real world, right? So Nitish, now coming to that board meeting of January 17th, where, there was going to be fundraise, a prep that was going to be discussed. Any update that you can share with us, and what you're going to do with the funds that will be raised?
Yeah, sure. Just to clarify, it wasn't meant for a fundraise. We've just announced an acquisition, which I think you might have missed because the release just went out 15 minutes back. So we're acquiring a company called Datawrkz, which is an ad tech platform based in Bangalore, but also operating with 70% of the revenues coming in the US. So we've just announced the acquisition, and the meeting yesterday was the preferential issue was in relation to that. So it's if you want, I can just talk a bit about it.
Yeah, Nitish, we'd love to know more about what this acquisition really brings on the table for you.
Yeah, sure. So Datawrkz is an ad tech company. They do two things. They focus on optimizing customer acquisition costs, especially on mobile. And on the second end, they have products like they have a product called Ad Primus that generates higher revenues for publishers. So basically, when you're monetizing through ads, they have products and tools that help you optimize the yield that you are getting on these ads. Why it is relevant for Nazara is two things. One is obviously, as you know, Nazara has large user acquisition costs that comprise of almost 20% of our revenues or a little higher. And we're hopeful that we'll be able to deploy these products and technologies and the experience of the team to optimize, our user acquisition costs. On the other end, many of our platforms and products, whether it is our World Cricket Championship game, whether it is Sportskeeda, they generate a lot of revenues through advertising on their platforms. And using products like Ad Primus from Datawrkz, we can optimize the yields and hopefully increase our revenues. So these are the two reasons we believe this is very synergistic to us. In addition to this, I think there's a lot of convergence happening between ad tech platforms and gaming. And even if you see in the US, companies like Zynga have bought ad platforms in recent times. In the last year, you had Zynga buy an ad network called Chartpost, and many others have done the similar thing. So we're seeing a lot of overlap happening, and we also believe that we can bring a lot of value add to this company, Datawrkz, in terms of them being able to independently scale their business. So we're very excited about this business. We valued the company up to 225 crores. It's a structured payout where initially we will be taking a 33% stake for INR 60 crores, out of which 35 crores will be paid in cash, and the balance 25 crores will be paid either in cash or through shares. And the balance will be decided based on the performance of calendar year 23.
Interesting. What I also wanted to understand was, given that Datawrkz has offices in US as well as Singapore, and correct me if I'm wrong here, what kind of opportunity does this play out for your own international presence as well as expansion?
Yeah, I think the ad tech opportunity is a global opportunity, and like you rightly said, Datawrkz is already working in multiple geographies. I believe in India we will be able to help them scale up their business very fast through our network. In the US, where they are already established, 70% of their revenues are coming from the US. I believe there's a long way to go. There's a lot of opportunity, and again, a combined effort, I think, should allow us to scale that business. You may remember that already a good chunk of our revenues come from the US, especially through our Kidopia app. And I believe Datawrkz will be another cog which is going to scale up our revenues in the US.
All right. Nitish, just want to understand whether the acquisition is going to be margin accretive and what kind of shift do you see in the overall mix of offerings that you have? How does the margin shift on account of this acquisition?
Yeah, sure. So I think if you look at Datawrkz numbers, they're unaudited numbers for calendar year 22. They posted a revenue of approximately INR 90 crores with about a 12% margin, so about 9 or 10 crores EBITDA. So it's a profitable company. It's a generating positive cash flow. But like always, our focus is on growth today in terms of revenues and strategic initiatives. So we are not to very strongly focus on margins at this point of time, even for Datawrkz. We believe that the business itself can scale quite significantly from here. So our whole focus will be on growth in the short term.
Okay. Then taking from that point, Nitish, could you give us a sense of how things have panned out in terms of users as well? I also want to understand about the gamified early learning and esports revenues. They've grown well, but in terms of user addition, how has that panned out?
Obviously our Q3 results are going to be out soon, and I can't kind of preempt those results. But I think the overall trend for the business is very healthy, and we are very excited about this FY23 that's ahead of us.
So Nitish, we've talked about Datawrkz. You just announced that 15 to 20 minutes back. You're going to bet on merchandising as far as Planet Superheroes go. A lot of the markets are, have given you a thumbs up already for being like the info edge for the gaming sector by investing in other startups and, I guess providing capital to the ecosystem as well. What can we expect next?
I think our journey is only beginning. It may sound strange for a company that's been around for 20 years, but I truly from my heart believe that this is the decade of gaming in India. And I think we are very well poised in terms of our structure, in terms of our Friends of Nazara network, how we are operating. And also our DNA is rightly placed to take advantage of this opportunity. So I think we will continue to be aggressive in this space. We will continue to partner with new companies, and we will continue to focus on tangible business while also growing our consumer base. So we remain very excited as day one, I would say.
So it's still day zero, day one for Nazara Tech is basically what you're telling me. Nitish, we've got to get you back on the channel. I know a lot of excitement is taking place, particularly with esports and women also taking to e-gaming as well as esports. And, in our time, we had to tell our parents, no, we don't want to be an engineer. We don't want to be a doctor. We want to pursue other interests. It'll be interesting to talk about how much these gamers are making, right? Because I believe it's like mind-boggling figures, and these are serious careers that are taking place. That we'll have leave conversation for another time. But thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you. Take care.